Well, good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Wednesday morning. It is the 30th day of August, 2023. We're almost through with the month of August. This is the morning briefing coming to you from my weather office in my home weather office, and it is a good-looking morning, at least where I am. I know a little bit lower elevations, the air quality isn't all that great. So we'll talk about air quality, and we'll talk about the big changes we're going to be seeing as we head toward especially Friday and the weekend. But I want to start with Hurricane Idalia. We've been talking about this for the last couple of days, so I want to just give you the perspective of what this storm looked like at landfall. So this isn't live even as I'm recording this. I turned the clock back so we could see just what happened at landfall. And this was, this was around 5 a.m. West Coast time, about 8 o'clock local. So this is the time we saw landfall. Landfall came in as a Category 3. It was a Category 4 for a short time last night. It weakened slightly as it made landfall down to a Category 3. That's only the difference between winds in the eye wall of 120 versus 130. Still pretty strong storm, major hurricane, and now it's down to a Category 2 as it's moving inland. Just want to zoom in on this just a little bit, if I can. And what we're going to be looking at here is the eye wall structure itself. And as you can see, this is the eye wall here. And there's this little town of Perry. And I've seen some video this morning where, and actually some reports, they had gusts over 80 miles an hour here in Perry. There's quite a bit of damage, lots of trees down, and that sort of thing. And then if you look down here, these little towns, Horseshoe Beach and then Cedar Key. We talked about Cedar Key yesterday. And you can just see this flow coming inland. And that's, if you just picture strong winds going this way, it's just grabbing all of that water and just pushing it inland, which is why these areas like Cedar Key and Horseshoe Beach are having some of the worst storm surge. So it's these areas that get the worst storm surge from this little town called Salem all the way down towards Cedar Key and even down toward Tampa. They've had some pretty good storm surge as well. And then on the backside, Tallahassee, they've had some gusty winds there. But if you go over to this side of the storm, the winds are actually going offshore. So here you don't have anything in the way of storm surge at all over toward Apalachicola. So yeah, the storm will continue to weaken as it moves farther to the north during the course of the day today over Georgia. They'll likely see wind damage over Georgia, but this thing is moving pretty quickly. Its forward speed's around 18 miles an hour, I think, and that means that as it moves along, what we're going to see is a pretty quick exit through Georgia and South Carolina and then off the coast. And what that does, its fast forward movement helps to minimize the amount of rain you see and help to minimize flooding. But still, there will be a lot of damage here, a lot of power outage. But what's interesting is this stretch of Florida coast is about the most sparsely populated part of the state of Florida. It really is. While we'll see just how bad the damage is in these communities, this will be nothing like what we saw with Ian last year that went into highly populated areas like Fort Myers. All right, let's see what's happening around here. Yeah, just as expected. The north wind overnight brought bad air quality up and down the valley. But you can see that it's not in the foothills. It's really not in the Sierra. Here's where the source of the smoke is, up north. And as you can see, we have smoke here. And then look at that long trail of smoke going off the coast. Yeah, that's classic north wind, offshore wind. No marine layer to deal with it this morning at all. Some of this is elevated, but some of this is down on the ground. So with that in mind, I'll go to purple air. Wait a second for the data to load. And you can clearly see where we're seeing the bad air quality. Now, I'm recording this around 8:20 on Wednesday morning. And the reason I point that out is the air quality will be improving in the morning. This is during the afternoon. This is probably the worst air quality we're going to see, but there are some areas around Sacramento County with the AQI over 200, in the 170s in the Stockton area, 170s in the Modesto area. But then you go into the foothills above Highway 49, the air quality is great. Into the Bay Area, these AQIs are in the 150s. But what we're going to see during the day is an improvement in the air quality. A couple of things will happen. We'll see not only will the air warm and begin to lift out a lot of the smoke, at least it'll become a little bit more elevated, but the wind will begin to change direction. This is the wind this morning as depicted on the model. There are some gusty winds in the north end of the valley, but Areas like Sacramento and even Fairfield and the foothills really aren't seeing anything in the way of a wind. This is probably the strongest wind, again, at least as depicted by the models. And as you can see, we are seeing some winds on the west side of the valley that'll be gusty, might be a little bit breezy around Sacramento. But then watch what happens as we get into the evening tonight. This is around 8 o'clock tonight. We get back to a delta breeze. So this is a very short-lived north wind event. We get back to the delta breeze tonight. The air quality will be improving. And then during the day on Thursday, this is Thursday around midday, look at the southwesterly winds. These arrows may be tough to see, but the wind is going this way. It gets kind of windy in the Sierra, windy through the delta. So whatever smoke we have in the area today will be gone by the time we get into the day on Thursday, and then certainly not around during the day on Friday. All right, I'm going to go to the North American model and show you more on the changes we're going to see. So I'm going to go to the 500 millibar chart. And what you'll see here is we still have this ridge here, which is why today we may see temperatures in the upper 90s to around 100 degrees. Then as we get into the day tomorrow, well, yeah, we'll see this trough dig in. And here's the wind aloft. Now keep in mind, this is up around 18,000 feet. But we'll see those winds aloft, and then some of that will be reflected down at the surface in the Sierra tomorrow, helping to vent the smoke. But this will be the leading edge of cooler air. Now, instead of having a ridge, we have a deep trough digging over California. This is Thursday afternoon. And then as we get into the day Friday, this is Friday afternoon, a big deep low in here, cool air coming in, and then it sticks around into the day on Saturday. So I'm going to come down in elevation, down to 850 millibars, and look at the temperatures. So these are the temperatures at around 5,000 feet. Today, I'll go to this afternoon. Today, these temperatures, as I scroll over this, around 23, 24 degrees. That gives you a temperature at 5,000 feet of around 74, 75 degrees, something like that. So that's why, again, today will be very warm, upper 90s to around 100 degrees, especially with that north breeze. We get into the day on Thursday. Let's go to Thursday afternoon. The temperature doesn't come down a lot. It's down to 20 degrees, so we've only come down a few degrees. So that's why Thursday, middle part of the day, will probably reach the low and mid 90s in many areas, but the delta breeze will kick up later. So Thursday evening, we'll see a really big drop in temperatures. So by Friday afternoon, our temperatures aloft are down to 11 degrees, which is about 52 degrees. So our temperatures at 5,000 feet between today and Friday go from, let's say, 75 down to 52. And that's how we can get the drop in temperatures in the valley going from upper 90s to near 100 today down to upper 70s and low 80s by Friday. And then that cooler air will stick around through the weekend. So what about getting any precipitation? So let's look at that. So it doesn't, right now, the models are not picking up on a lot of rain for Northern California with this cooler air coming in. If there is going to be a surprise in the models, I think that's where it may come in. This is, let's go to Friday afternoon. Now this could actually be really good because this is where we're seeing fires. And some of this rain could actually be a very beneficial rain up around the Shasta area and farther to the south. This would not be thunderstorms. This would be just a nice steady rain. They could see maybe 1/4 of an inch of rain. There's also this rain down here, down toward Las Vegas and Lake Havasu and into the Mojave Desert. It'll be interesting to see whether or not this low can tap into any of that to bring some of that into the Sierra. But right now, the models really aren't depicting that. But this would be much cooler air, great air quality, and the chance of some showers up where we are seeing some fires. Now, that's not going to put those fires out, but with higher humidity, cooler temperatures, and some rain, the fires will certainly lay down for a couple of days, and then the fire behavior will depend on what sort of weather we see beyond that. So this morning, bad air quality up and down the valley. It'll get better this afternoon, and it'll all get cleared out during the day tomorrow. And of course, temperatures today still pretty warm, but that's going to change drastically as we head into Friday and the weekend. That's everything I've got for you this morning. I'll be in my suit and tie and in the office to do the news at 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, and 11. In the meantime, make it a great day. I'll talk to you later.